to our channel. I'm Rupali Shah, a blockchain developer and an instructor at Newton School. So, today's topic is to discuss about let, var, and const, and we will be also looking about the rules that how you can define a variable. So let's first get started with the rules that how you can have variables, and then we will be moving on to our that thing um, keywords, that what are the keywords that you can use to define variable. So let's get started. Let's just see the rules first. Okay, now to define a variable, first and means to just give a name to a variable. Basically this rule belongs to like what things what things we can use uh, to create a name for a variable. Create a name of a variable of a variable. So this is what we are gonna discuss right now. So the first rule is that the variables contain alphabets, so it's like A to Z, or it's like, okay, this could be and or both. So let's have and it could have capital A to capital Z. So this is the first rule to have a variable. Um, Typo. So yeah, let's have it clear. So now the second rule is that it could have numbers also. Now these numbers can't be the first letter of a variable. These should come after something like A to Z, any alphabet from A to Z, or now we're discussing more things that could be included in a variable name. But just remember one thing with this numbers. Let's have a disclaimer that they could not be the first letter. So then we could have underscore and dollar sign as the special characters for having for giving a name to a variable. That particularly means that your variable name could only have two special characters. One is underscore and the second one is dollar. So this was a naming convention, and now let's try it also. So we will be using our favorite keyword for now, var, but in further in this video we will be also discussing about const and let. So we will be having a brief upon these three variables, means these three keywords in JavaScript. So for now let's have var, and let's just have, like I told you, that you can have numbers, you can have alphabets and numbers, you can have underscore, and you can also have dollar. So let's keep this as our variable name, and let's assign it a value. Okay, let's have a number over here. So now let's just have a console of this particular thing, so that we can get that is it giving you an error or not. So yeah, you can see over here, like hmm, so this is an output coming. So let's just have over here one particular thing like these, and yeah, so that it gets more clear. So this is coming from here. Now you can see that, okay, these are the things that could be included in a variable. So what are the things that could not be included in a variable? So there is rule for them also. Was the third point. Now the fourth, from the fourth point it starts that what things you can't include in a variable. So first and of all, the keywords of JavaScript can't be the variable. Like if you wanted this to be const, then it would give you an error. Now, const is also a keyword and that can not be used as a variable name. That's why it is giving us an error. Now, suppose this keyword could be let, so it will again throw you an error. Suppose this keyword could be a null, because we have seen that null is also a keyword in JavaScript. So yeah, this will show you some errors. So for now, let's just have our traditional ones. Yeah. Now I told you that the variable name can't be initialized with a number. Like the first letter could not be a number. So let's have one over here, and you can see that it gave you an error. So, and I can prove that this error is coming from there only. So not a big deal. Yeah, everything got crash. So these were the rules, and the special characters are only underscore and dollar sign that could be included in a variable. If you want to add some other special characters, like suppose hash, it would give you an error. If you want to include at the rate, it would give you an error. So, this was all about the rules that you need to follow and you need to keep in mind while having a variables. Now, these were the rules, like what you can include in a variable name and what you can't include in a variable name. But there is one more rule which says camel case. Now, this won't give you any error, but it is an convention in JavaScript that if you want a word to be have two two words combined, like first name. Now, first is some other word and name is some other word. So you can basically have a variable name like first name as FIRST, and then you can have N capital. So yeah, this is an convention in JavaScript that to merge two words, the first word's first letter would be small, and the second word's first letter would be the capital. And if like I want this first name and I want to have one like John, so this John would be also capital. So yeah, this is just the variable name declaration. Some of the rules that you need to keep in your mind, and these four rules are very necessary. You need to follow these four rules, or otherwise you would be having a lot of errors. And this camel case is like just in convention, which helps other programmers to understand your particular code, that what you are trying to say. So this was all about variables. Now let's jump into let, var, and const. But before that, I want to tell you that we are using Newton's Launchpad, and as you know, that Newton's is a tech company that allow people to learn things in tech field and become a techie guy, and they didn't charge you anything in the beginning. So once you get registered in your course, and once you get finished those courses and get a placement, then only you have to pay the fees. And the best part is that Newton has a guaranteed placement program which allows you to have a placement from 5 lakhs up to 40 lakhs. So don't forget to check out the link in the description, because yeah, you should try this platform once. It would help you a lot. And the second thing is that please don't forget to subscribe this channel, like this video, and turn on your notifications to receive updates of our future videos. So now let's move to let, var, and const. Now, as we have seen that these three are means, as we have discussed in the beginning of the video, that these three keywords are basically something that would allow you to define a variable. Now, why we use these things and what are they means, how they are different from each other. So let's keep let and var in one category for now, They are totally different, I agree upon it, but for now let's have them in a group and this const in another group. So what happened when you have a const as your type of if you use const to declare a variable, suppose I declare q1 as variable, like q1 is my variable name and const is a keyword that helps me to declare that variable. So now if I have const and if I had given it a value 4, so now if I want to update q1 to 0, it would show me an error and I can literally prove it. Okay, uh, over here also you can see that it is showing me that q1 is only read only, you can't modify the value of q1. So this is the major difference between const and where and let. Now we okay, so let me just give it with the let and var also. So if we have let as, and if this is q2 and let's have this also value 4, but now if I am having q2 is equals to 0, it won't give me any error, only the error comes over here because const help you to declare some constant variables which once defined won't be able to change, you won't be able to change their values. So this was a major difference between const and let and var. So var also works like let only for this purpose. Now let's have the big thing, that what is the difference between let and var. So let's have this like let versus var. Now, let is a keyword that would help you to declare. There are two major changes over here. There are two major changes. Now, the first one is that the first change is that let is something that won't allow you to again declare a same variable with the same name. Now, what that particularly means, let's have a look on it. Suppose you have a let variable and you said let e is equals to 3, and then you want to again have a let, and if you want to say that let e is equals to 9, this is gonna give you an error. I'm not joking, it's true. Like, this is not something that is possible. This should have given us error till now. Yeah. So it says that you can't have a duplicate declaration of E. But whereas with the case of var, if I have a var t is equals to 0, and if I say that okay, var t should be equals to 8, it won't give me any error. It won't. Okay. So it, like you can see that only it is saying that duplicate declaration of E. So it has not even recognized that I have two vars. So if I remove, or if I just have a comment over these lines, so you can see that the program is working very fine. Means the JavaScript don't have any problem with us now. So that was about first difference between var and let. Now let's look at to some another difference. Just have one let over here right now. Yeah. Okay, so now let's move to a second difference between let and var, but we won't be able to use this IDE because the this IDE using something which won't give you an error, or which won't help you to understand this particular point. So for that we will be using some other ID. But first let's see that what's the difference between let and var. The second difference, so we can say that okay, we have let and we could name it as a local also, because lets are local variable, and same way the var is a global variable. Now what these two terms mean, so Basically, the local variables are something. Okay, we have this local, so we can say that local variables are something that is that has a boundary. You can only use them in a particular boundary where they are declared, and global variables are something that doesn't have any boundary, and you can use them anywhere in a program. So this has a boundary, and the global variables actually don't have any boundary, defined boundary. You can use it anywhere inside your program. Means if you have declared something like in a for loop, you can use outside that for loop also. If you have defined them in a function, you can still access those variables outside that function too. So that's the second difference between let and var. Now, to see a demo of this particular thing, we won't be able to use this ID because this ID is having some logic built inside it where they are actually not giving you an error if you use a let outside their boundary. So for that, we will be using one compiler. It is an online compiler, and you can check this out. So yeah, just for this program, let's have our hands over on this. So let's first have a for loop, and I know you guys are not aware of for loop, or if you are aware, then it's well and good. If you are not aware, then please don't take any tension or pressure. These are the topics which will be covered on this channel afterwards, whenever we had a finish with the our this basic variables stuff. So let's have a for loop now, and let's declare a variable with let, and okay, just let's have first with var. So we said okay, var I is equals to 0. We said okay, var I means the I should be less than, okay, not this much, or 3 would be great. And we said okay, now just increase I. So I guess next topic of the channel would be operators only. So I'm planning to have a video on operator now after this variables just get ends. So just stay tuned. So right now let's just have a console.log over here, and let's just print I. And now if I run it, you can see that okay, I'm getting three outputs, and these are coming from this. So let's give it a tag that it is coming from inside the loop, inside loop. Okay, and just have a run again. So we can see that these three are coming from inside the loop. Now let's just copy out this particular line. Let's just paste it, and let's just say that now we have come outside. So this particular output would be coming from outside of this loop. So yeah, this is working very fine. And this is working because like var was declared inside this for loop, and as it is a global variable, you can access it outside the for loop too. Now let's just have a change. Let's say that we are using let instead of var. So what would be the difference? We will be looking very soon. So let's just comment out this line for now. So this is working perfectly fine, like the previous one with the var one. Now let's just remove this like comments, and let's just have okay, you got an error, and it says that I is not defined. So this particular thing happened because I was a variable that was defined inside a loop, and so it considered that the life of I would be just be that exist, that I exist just between these curly braces, like this whole for loop. Now suppose I want to just have another I. Okay, and if I said that, okay, let this I be 0, and let's just run it. So now you won't get any error because we just define I again. So that's it for today, guys. And yeah, this particular thing won't give error to Newton's launchpad because of some logic they are using. So let's just have a copy of this, and let's just try it into the Newton's launchpad also, so that you can see that okay, it won't give you an error. In fact, it would print 3, the same result as we were getting with var. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe this channel and like this video. Thank you, guys.